congratulations. Let's get the party started. You just made a great decision. First of all, investing in yourself. You need to acknowledge yourself and becoming a Toastmaster. Developing and becoming a better speaker. Let's acknowledge that. Yeah, let's get the party. Let's get it started in here. All right, that's enough of that. I promise you, no more dancing or singing from me for the rest of the video. Okay, that's my treat to you. So my name is Dwayne Jackson. I am a Toastmaster. I've been a Toastmaster with Bold Literary Talkers, and I've been a Toastmaster for 5 years. But this video is going to be for new members. This is going to be a new member orientation. I'm going to let you know right now, this video is probably going to be about 15 to 20 minutes max because I want to cover quite a lot of things. And I just want you to know, so get yourself ready. If you want to fast forward through some of the video, please feel free to do so. But again, let's get into the meat and potatoes of becoming a Toastmaster. So I want to tell you a little bit about me really quick. So I joined Toastmaster in 2010, and I joined really because I got sick and tired of being sick and tired of the situation that I was in. And I didn't have a job. I wasn't working. I was about 5 months behind on my rent at the time. And someone told me, this person's name was Les Brown. He was a public speaker. I was at this convention learning about being a better person. And at the end, I saw him speaking on stage. I ran up to him once he was done and I said, what can I do to get what I want out of life? And he said, become a Toastmaster, enter the speech contest. And he said, I promise you, when you do this, you're going to get more out of life. Because because if you want to get more out of life, he said, you have to realize that you have to work on how you communicate with not just the outside world, but how you communicate with yourself. Okay, so that's why I joined Toastmaster, is essentially to become better, but more so, I wanted to get that rent paid. But let's talk about you. So the way that you start in Toastmasters is the way you're going to end. I don't work for Toastmasters. This is not mandatory stuff that you do, but I'm just sharing you some things that I've learned that has helped me along the way. And just so that you know, some of my background in Toastmasters, I've chartered 2 different clubs. I've been a club coach at one club in Chicago. So first thing I want you to know is to know your club number, right? My club number, I'm with Bold Literary Talkers with Club 708-973. I'm in District 30, area B54. You want to know your club number, right? And ask one of your club members or go to the website. You also want to know what days of the week your club meets, how frequently they meet, and know the time. There's some basic stuff that you want to get to know. And from there, you want to start learning about your club's history. Every club is unique. There's over 200,000 Toastmasters clubs around the world, 117 countries and more. So every club is different. Every club has a different personality. But you want to get comfortable with the people at your club so that you can know the club's history that you're at. And you want to know a little bit more about why was the club founded, things like that. And trust me, it's going to help you more as a member when you can know about some of the traditions of your club. Because what goes on in your club may not be standard for every other club. So it's important that you know that. It can be a big difference. The goal in my specific club with Bold Literary Talkers is we want to ensure that our members become 3 times more confident and effective towards helping other people in their life and in their careers. And we want to help them do that within 1 year. 1 year. And the way that you're going to do that is going through this here. This is the Competent Communicator Manual. Right, so you should have one in the mail you should have it with you. If you don't have it, right, go get it right now. If you don't have it, I'm posting up some resources to show you some of the things. But you want to get that book, right? That is the Competent Communicator Manual is like your roadmap to success. And also there's a Competent Leader Manual as well. They're both important, but most of my energy is going to be spent on the CC Manual. You want to achieve a CC and a CL within your first year. Now, if you are a person that's already been a Toastmaster and you're already a CC, then I would encourage you to get your high performance leadership or get another manual finished within this next upcoming year. Resources are very important. The way that you're going to achieve those goals is understanding the resources. One of the greatest resources you can have is the Toastmasters International website. That's toastmasters.org. When you go to that Toastmasters website, I want you to do it with one of your members. You're going to have your own login username, all right, and you're going to create your own password. I believe that should be sent to you in an email, but you want to confirm that with one of your club officers and log in so that you can see how the back office works. There you will find all sorts of resources. You will find the Toastmaster magazine is on there. You can find out about events. You can find out about a lot of everything that's going on in Toastmasters. Also, your club should have a website. And so you want to figure out and learn what is your club's website and go to that site as well. And your district might even have a website. Like my district has is d30toastmasters.org. Okay, and you can learn a lot about events that are going on in your area. It's about you becoming a better speaker outside of Toastmasters. I want you to always remember that. If you're not practicing these skills outside of the meeting, you won't experience as much growth. One thing I can promise you, when I first started as a Toastmaster, I was very, very nervous about speaking. But the more that I spoke and I messed up, I made mistakes, and the more I did that, I got better quickly because I became more confident in myself. So speak, speak, speak. One of the very first things that you want to ask yourself is, why did you become a Toastmaster in the first place? And you want to write that down. I want you to really clearly know why you joined Toastmasters, and I want you to write down your why. And I want to make it really brief and important to you, and your why might make you cry. And if it does, that's perfectly fine. It's even better. But I want you to get that why, and I want you to put it like on your bathroom mirror, on your refrigerator, somewhere where you can see it every single day. Because if the people who know their why, it's easier to stay committed when challenges happen in your life. And I promise you, challenges are going to happen, and the first challenge is going to be you most of the time. That storm is going to come where you may not feel prepared. You might say, I don't want to give my icebreaker speech. I'm not ready yet. There's some people, they go a year without giving a speech. You know what? You have the ability to go do it, so just go do it. I want you to become prepared. There's going to be times when you're having issues with money. Might be one of the things. You might not have the transportation to get to meetings. You might not have the content to give a speech. Whatever that issue is, it might be family or work related issues, time issues. All of those are real. I respect them, but I will tell you this: when you're going for a goal, something is going to call adversity is going to come. There's going to be a challenge. The people who win are the people who overcome through those challenges. So know your why. Know the reason why you're joining Toastmasters. That's very, 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 very important. Also, make sure you get together with your VP of education, your VP, and your president of the club, because they should have you complete what's called an interest level survey. This is a survey that basically comes from one of the manuals, and you're able to write down all of your things that you're interested in, what you want to get from Toastmasters. And it's important that you establish that relationship, so that, because everyone wants something different. Some people might want to become a better speaker at their job. Some people might want to strictly do broadcast speaking, or some people might just want to be a better leader in some capacity. I had a guy in one of the clubs named Nathaniel, and I remember he just said he traveled around the world all the time. He said, I just want to create better stories. He said his goal was to give 100 speeches within a year, because he said he wanted to give better stories when he goes around the country and goes to parties. So it's interesting, but you need to know your why and what you're interested in and be clear about that. Okay. Now let's talk specifically about the meetings. Let's talk about that. The average club, your meets maybe at least twice a month. Some meet more, some meet less. You need to figure out exactly how often you all meet, know exactly the times and the locations. But more importantly, know how are the agendas put together. Typically, some clubs, what they do, they have a VP of education. There's a person in your club who's going to put the agenda together, right? Now, there may be two people that do this, or it might just be one. You want to figure out what's the process that your club uses. Now, my club, what we do is we have a Google Drive, We have a link that's sent out. If you go to our website, you can see the links to the agendas. You click on that link, everyone is then able to put your name directly into a slot. Okay. Now, when you put your name on that slot, everyone has access to it, and so everyone can see that agenda. We print that agenda, and that's how we do it. In my club. Every club is different though, so you want to figure out how your club puts together their agenda. All right. Next thing is your CC manual. I want you to go to page 66 in your manual, and this is important because on page 66 it talks about the club meeting, and you want to really understand how the club meetings work. Typically, there's 3 parts to every meeting: prepared speeches, which is my favorite part. Then you have table topics, and then you have evaluations. Prepared speeches, of course, are typically 5 to 7 minute speeches. Your first speech is going to be a icebreaker, which is 4 to 6 minutes, talking about yourself. That's it. Really simple. You can't go wrong with that icebreaker as long as you're talking about you and your audience is getting to know you better. Next is table topics. That's when everyone can speak between you've probably seen it, but it's a great opportunity to learn more about the table topics. And then, of course, prepare speeches. Now, I also have another video where I'm gonna break down all 10. I have another series where we break down all 10 of those videos and help you prepare to give those 10 speeches. But at the end of the year, what you should be able to do is take every technique that you've learned in each speech and then put that all together. And ultimately, when you give your 10th speech, you now have a one great speech because you're using all of these different skills and techniques you've learned along the way. Okay, so I'm not going to go into super detail with a sample agenda. I might put one up, but for the most part, I want you to follow up with your leader to talk about that. All right. Now, also, I want you to understand about, now that we talked about scheduling, and what we do in my club is we actually book our speakers in advance. So one thing that we do is if you're a new person, your first 3 speeches, we're going to put those on schedule. We're going to schedule for those 3 speeches. We have a rule. It's called 3, 6, and 9 rule. That means once you become a member, the 3rd meeting and the 6th meeting and the 9th meeting that you attend as a member are all meetings where you are scheduled to speak. And you're going to have a mentor that's going to help you get your speeches together. 3, 6, and 9. Okay? Now, you want to start scheduling your speeches in advance so that way you get a slot on the agenda, but also you have time to prepare your speeches. Now, let's talk about the money for a minute. Let's talk about club dues and things like that. Now, Toastmasters International charges $36 every 6 months. There's also a $20 one-time setup fee, which is for your books and things. So that's also there. But then your club might have what you call a club dues. So with your club dues, when you add all of this stuff together, just know that's typically paid twice a year, right? Except for that one-time fee. You're paying dues twice a year. But also with our club, and I'm going to break down the numbers so that I'm clear. So within our club, we have $12 club dues. $36 is to join Toastmasters International, right? And then there's a $20 investment for your manuals. So you will pay all 3 of those upon joining, and then 6 months later, or whenever that next period is to join, which is typically October and April, we would pretty much pay those fees again. Now, in between that, we also, in my club, we have fines for certain things you do. For example, let's say, for instance, you're scheduled to give your competent communicators a speech, but you didn't bring the manual, then we do have a 25-cent fine for that. Also, let's say you come into the meeting late and you're scheduled to give a position, then there's a 25-cent fine. Now, myself, what I do is, this is for everyone, but I challenge the grammarian. So every time that I say a, so, or an grammatical error, I pay 10 cent to the club. 10 cent every single time. That's what I do, and I contribute it to the club. So again, some clubs have fines. All clubs do not have fines, but my club does. So ask your organization, your leaders, if they have any fines. After you've given at least about 5 speeches, now you're qualified to become an evaluator. And it's important that you study evaluation at this point. And you can do that by going to Toastmasters International, and they have a great evaluation guide on the website. Okay, and also you want to just that's a great resource. I'll have other videos as well that talks about being a great evaluator, and you can go into detail with that. Now, I want you to, before we move along and move forward, I want you to also keep in mind, I got a picture up of the first 10 speeches that you'll be giving, and we'll talk about that in other videos in more detail. Okay. Now, again, another resource, when we talk about evaluation, the Toastmasters magazine is also a great resource to learn about that. Your Toastmasters magazine should be coming every single month. And look at that. There's some great stories on how to become better evaluators. Now, I want to give you a couple cheat codes. Okay, these are a couple small tidbits that can help you go along the way. It helped me a lot. Now, this was important because when I wanted to join Toastmasters, I wanted to compete, which meant in order to be in the contest, I had to give 6 speeches, and I had to do it like within 2 months of when I joined. So these cheat codes were important to me. They may not be important to everybody, but there's just some personal stuff I learned along the way. First is you only need 2 people to actually get credit in your CC manual to become evaluated. That's yourself. You're the speaker, and you just need one other Toastmaster to be there to evaluate you. So there were many times where I met someone, let's say, at their office, and it was just me and another Toastmaster who happened to be experienced, and that it was a one-on-one. Sometimes it was 2 or 3 people. I gave a speech before them, and they gave me credit. So you don't always need to be in the Toastmaster meeting, a big formal meeting, for you to get credit. As long as you're getting evaluated, you can get credit. Also, I want you to understand, after you've given your first 3 speeches, you then can be able to skip through that book, meaning speech 4 through speech 9, you don't have to give it in the exact order, right? You don't have to. Like after I did my first 3 speeches, I just decided to skip directly into speech 7. For me, I did it because I needed to get through the manual quicker. So again, you can do what you feel like is best for you, but that's something you can understand. You don't have to follow those orders between 4 and 7. You can also speak at outside clubs. You do not have to stay just within your own club. And I'm in Chicago. We have over 200 clubs. And what I like about speaking with outside clubs is you're going to get different evaluations, and you're going to have a different energy, and it keeps you sharper because when you're in front of the same people all the time, you get comfortable, people getting to know you, and be honest with you, some of the evaluations might be the same over and over again. So you want to get different feedback from different people. When you're speaking at outside clubs, just talk with your leaders in your club first, and then talk with the leaders in that other outside club, and so you can get scheduled on that agenda. It's also important to know that you can give the same topic over and over again through your CC manual. The biggest mistake that I think most people make is trying to speak on a different topic 10 times throughout that manual. Because I say that's a mistake, and the only reason I say it is because whenever you have to focus on creating a lot of content and you got to think of a new subject every time, sometimes you're more focused on knowing the information than you are focused on using the skill set to connect with your audience. So what I've seen is that when you talk about a topic that you know and you're familiar with, and those are topics you draw from every time, then you can get better quicker because you don't have to worry about creating content. So I encourage, that's I've seen people talk about one topic in 10 different ways. So you can do that. You can get 1 topic, 2 topics, but my point is talk about what you know and be consistent. The main thing is to speak as often as possible. Also, another point I want to give you is to keep a journal, a story journal, right? A story journal of things that are happening to you, transformational stories. Write that stuff down, because when you're giving your speeches, the best speeches are actually stories. right? A story is more impactful than a speech. I want you to keep that in mind. So you keep your story journal. Also, if you can, get you a video camera. Your cell phone will get you another video camera where you can record yourself and watch yourself. Be your own evaluator. And on your cell phone, you can also get a audio recording app, right? So if you get you an audio recording app, that way you can listen to yourself. I know it will be painful. I hate listening to myself. I don't even want to watch this video when I'm done with it. It's already super long. I don't want to watch it, but I'm going to have to be able to get the best feedback sometimes is watching yourself. So that's very, very important. So what I'll do is I'm going to, at this point, I'm going to begin to conclude this video just because of time. But I want you to know I have other videos that are going to break down things about how do you come up with your speech ideas? How do you come up with the titles for your speeches? How do you get through that CC manual as quick and as effective as possible? And I want to give you some ideas on how to do that. But lastly, I just want to tell you, you're on a team. You're not by yourself. So it's very, very important that you hook up with a mentor. You hook up with several team members on your team, with your club. Get their contact information. Ask how they communicate, and make sure you stay in tune because you're investing in yourself. Okay, so it's not gonna be easy, but it can be simple and it can be fun if you make it so. So go out. Remember, your communication will help you get what you want in life and help you become who you need to become. And I am your platform partner. Yes, it's Dwayne Jackson, all about making things happen. And I look forward to hearing your speeches and helping you on other videos.